The court ruled 7-2 that the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, known as the Mandatory Repatriation Tax, which required US taxpayers who owned shares in foreign corporations to pay a one-time tax on their share of the corporation's earnings, does not violate the Constitution. Now, this case could set precedent, disallowing some progressive proposals, including a wealth tax. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, his majority opinion and more, which was joined by Chief Justice John Roberts and all three of the court's Democratic appointees, claims that it leaves the question of whether wealth taxes are constitutional unresolved. The opinion even includes a footnote stating that our analysis today does not address taxes on holdings, wealth, or net worth. But that's not true. Kavanaugh's Moore opinion includes a bonanza of loaded language that any competent tax lawyer can seize upon to protect their richest clients from wealth taxes, should Congress ever actually enact such a federal tax in the future. The most damning section of the opinion for proponents of wealth taxes deals with an arcane distinction between direct and indirect taxes. The Constitution provides that direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states, meaning that if New York makes up 6% of the US population, then exactly 6% of any direct tax imposed on the United States must be collected from New Yorkers. Now, it seems a little boring, but it does have serious repercussions potentially for addressing income inequality in this country. But Brett, do you think through this opinion and through Kavanaugh's writings, do you think that the possibility of a wealth tax is dead despite the bipartisan makeup of the majority opinion?
I hope the wealth tax is dead. It doesn't make any sense. It's a stupid tax. And this is the thing that lefties don't understand. In the average, I mean, I understand the messaging of tax the rich, but you can't just tax people for being something. You're just taxing people for being rich. It has. I want to peg it to a transaction. I want to peg it to activity. I don't just want to go out and peg people. You know what I mean, Jordan? I just think that, like,
about that?
Yeah, the wealth tax is just like one of those things that sounds awesome, but like it just seems like I'm mad at someone. The wealth tax is just, I get the money and it comes here. The apportionment of it to the states, like, it has to be like earmarked in a way that specifically remedies a problem. So many of the things that like come across they go out there into the ether from the left about like taxing rich people, like they forget that there's a lot of small business owners in America, and the small business owners are gonna like probably be less likely to get behind taxes like this and other taxes just because they're like, oh, you guys are just, where's my tax money going to? That's the thing they don't get. Where is it going to? Like, is it going to the poor? No, it never goes to the poor. When it goes to the poor, it gets lost. It doesn't really result in anything. If you're going to do a wealth tax, it absolutely needs to be tagged to some kind of like very specific, life, in a way that it makes life less expensive.
The video will continue in just a moment, but first I have a message for you. TYT needs your help. Membership is vital to survival, so please go to tyt.com/team and become a member today.
I just don't get it.
Okay, so
I'm all for taxing the rich, but it just has to make sense.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you think that just a standard tax on wealth that's just sitting in an account or a series of accounts isn't the proper response. You're saying it should be maybe an increased capital gains tax, a higher marginal tax rate, things like that. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to quell the revolt I'm already seeing in chat over your initial take that it's a stupid idea.
Sorry that stuff has to make sense. Like, it's just, I'm going to tax you for being rich. It's like, what? I think I love all the taxes. Well, just it gets really messy. Up there. Yeah, tax them on the way up there, and tax it and tell people this is exactly where the money's going. Like, it just, because it has to go to somebody. Otherwise, you're just reducing the wealth. Like, the money just goes into nowhere, and then it goes into either like reducing the deficit. You could say that, and that's something that generically people can kind of get behind, but not as much as like, oh, this goes to you. And it needs to have something that's like this kind of behavior from a wealthy corporation, a corporation that's doing well. That's what it is. Estate taxes, that's kind of where it kind of gets in the middle, and I'm more behind that, like property taxes on properties over a certain value. Yes, because you're purchasing that. That large amount, that large asset is drawing resources from the neighborhood, and it should be paid back into the neighborhood or surrounding neighborhoods more efficiently. But we just never really connected close the circle on it.
No, I'm certainly with you there. If we really wanted to address income inequality and wealth inequality, it shouldn't just be, let's preserve everything about our federal allocations and just hit the wealthiest with a certain 2% flat tax. And then what? Put the money in the military? Put the money into corporate subsidies? What changes?
And LA is,
all you're doing is putting that money back into their hands.
Yeah, California has this thing where we always vote for a program that just says we're going to help the homeless, but no one pays attention to helping the homeless. And $100 million later, there's everybody's still in the same boat or on the same street, and without really any tangible real means. There's policy wonks out there that have tons of plans that theoretically at least will help people, but that's got to remain in theory because all the people writing the policy are just politicians, and they just want to have yep, I did that thing, I did this much money for the homeless, but they never actually take the policy and enact it in a way that fixes the problem.
Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.